The words of wisdom for today is to guard your mind. Yes, you have to learn to guard your mind. I want to welcome you to Rob Moore's Words of Wisdom series, episode number 5. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Rob Moore, award-winning author, leadership expert, and founder of therobmoore.com. And I help people show up, step out, and shine so they can perform better and become leaders who shine. Now, you're probably already asking yourself, Rob, why is it so important that I guard my mind? Oh, I'm so glad you're thinking that way, because this is crucial. It's critical. I cannot stress this point enough. It's so important. And 99.9% of people do not even realize the importance of guarding your mind. You see, there's so much stuff going on in the world. And what most people don't understand is that everything that is implanted into your mind through your 5 senses affects you personally, affects your mind, affects your life, affects your actions. It affects everything in some kind of way, whether you like it or not. And if you don't learn how to guard your mind from the things that you don't want to enter your mind, you're going to have a rough life. It's possible that you'll have a rough life. It's very possible. And the reason why I say it's possible, because some people are blessed to be born into a life where the environment is very empowering and they get a good head start in life like that. But at the same time, some people are born into a life of negativity, where a lot of bad things are going on around them, and all of that stuff is affecting their mind if they don't know how to guard it from certain things, and they end up turning out how their environment is. What do we call that? There was a saying you become trying to think, what is it? A product. Most people become a product of their environment, and we don't want that to happen. My goal for you on this video is to not let the environment dictate how your life's going to turn out, dictate who you're going to become, dictate what you're going to do, how you're going to feel. You see, everything that is coming into your mind through your 5 senses is affecting you in some way. And if you learn to guard your mind, you can dictate what comes into your mind and what you do not want to enter your mind. And let me give you a couple examples from my life. A couple of live examples from my life that could have been very dramatic in a negative way, but I was able to turn it into a positive. And one of the first things that comes to my mind is, I remember, I graduated from high school and I had like $1,500, and I was looking to get my first car. That's an exciting time, in any young person's life, as you probably can imagine. I got my license at 17. I was 18. I just graduated from high school, and I was looking to get a car. And I kept looking and looking and looking and looking. And I remember there was this one car that I came across, and I liked it. I liked how it looked. The price was a little hefty because I only had $1,500, but the price of the car was like $2,000. This was, I can't remember exactly the make and model of the car, but I just remember it was nice. It cost a little bit more than what I had, but I was working, so all I had to do was work a few more hours, be a little bit more patient. I would have been able to get this car. And as I was looking for all these cars, I had a few in my mind that I wanted to get. And I remember my dad asking me about, what kind of car was I looking to buy. And the number one car out of all of them that I really wanted to get just happened to be a stick shift. And as soon as I told my dad that it was a stick shift, he said, "Man, you can't get that car because you don't know how to drive stick." And my first reaction was, I can learn. and he didn't know what to say. But you see, I could have let that affect me in a positive way or a negative way, because most people make the mistake of listening to everything that people say to you. You know, just because somebody says something and they have more experience than you and they're older than you, or just because somebody says something to you in general, period, end of story, doesn't necessarily mean that it's true, doesn't necessarily mean that you need to take action on it. So I could have let that deter me from getting the car. But he figured that since I didn't know how to drive stick already, I shouldn't even be looking at a car that is a stick. And he was also saying to me that I couldn't learn. And I'm like, I can learn anything. Now, I didn't get that car because I really wanted to get a car like as soon as possible. And I was so anxious on getting a car that I didn't want to wait the extra few weeks or the extra few months in order to get that car. So I didn't get that car. Let me give you another example. I remember I was working this job for a retail company. And this wasn't Price Chopper. It's another retail company which will remain nameless. And I remember like my first day. No, we won't even say the first day. I remember I interviewed for this job. And the first thing that they were telling me in the interview was how much responsibility is, how difficult it's going to be, how challenging it's going to be, and if I'm up to the challenge. And I was like, yeah, I'm up to the challenge, man. That's no problem. Piece of cake. I'm overqualified for this position. And then I remember I got hired for the job. Well, let's go back a little bit. I had to actually go on a second interview. So I went on a second interview about this job. And once again, you know, they're stressing to me, you know, how much responsibility it is. But they knew my background and everything that I've gone through, and I've talked about it, you know, so that really wasn't, that person really wasn't too concerned about everything. But I was like, not a problem. Then I went to the orientation. And in the orientation, they were talking about that job and how everybody hates that job, and how it's one of the most challenging jobs in the world. It's one of the worst jobs, you know, in the store, and a lot of people struggle with it. Nobody stays with it. Nobody likes it. There's a lot of responsibility, yada, yada. I'm like, whatever. I was like, piece of cake, I'm overqualified. And then I remember my first day on the job. Was it my first day? No, it wasn't my first day. It was probably like my third day. And I had a lot of computer training that they wanted me to do. So I went to go do my computer training. And there were 3 computers in this room. And on the first 2 computers, there were 2 girls that actually already worked for the company, been working for the company for years. And a couple of them, both of them actually used to do my job that I just started to go into. And they hated it. They got out of it. They said it's like the worst job. You know, you're going to struggle. You're not going to like it and all this stuff. Just saying all this negative stuff. And that was just like, that was just the last straw for me. And I just shifted on them. And I was like, listen, everybody's been saying that from the time I took my first interview to the time I took my second interview to the time of orientation. And to be totally honest with you, I'm sick and tired of hearing it. But let me tell you this. I'm overqualified. I'm not worried about it at all. Listen, I got this. Piece of cake. You know, because let me tell you why I'm being this way. Because I don't want I'm not going to allow the things that you say affect my mind. Because I'm in control. And whatever I want to happen is going to happen. And they kind of took that as a little bit of me being a little arrogant. But I'm just tired of people just trying to bring me into their world. Because the 50 other people that had that position and struggled in it and didn't like it and weren't able to handle it, just because 50 other people did it before me doesn't necessarily mean that needs to be the same for me. So I rejected all the negative thoughts from all of those people. I guarded my mind, and I went on to being the best, one of the best that they've seen in that position in a very long time. And everybody respects me in that position. But if, on the other hand, I would have did what everybody else did, was let all this stuff into their mind before even going into the position, guess what? I would have just been a statistic. I would have just been quitting like everybody else or asking to go to another department like everybody else. But I chose at that time to guard my mind, to not just let anybody stick any old thing in my mind. You see, this is the advice that I give to you. Guard your mind. See, you got to learn to evaluate very quickly everything that's coming at you, everything that people are saying to you, everything that you see on TV. You got to be able to quickly evaluate stuff. And this is not something that just happens overnight. It takes a lot of practice. Because what you got to learn to do is when stuff comes at you, you got to learn to step out of the situation and take a look at what's really going on and be able to make a decision based on that. Because just because somebody says something doesn't mean that it's true. It may be true for them, but it doesn't have to be true for you. So guard your mind. When information is coming at you, evaluate that information and look at what is going to empower you in order to get done what you want to get done. Like, let's go back to the car situation. If I wanted to be able to buy any car that I wanted, obviously I would have to be able to drive an automatic and I would have to be able to drive a stick. But I made a decision that if I really wanted a certain car and it was a stick, I would take the time to learn, or I would take the time to get the lessons in order to drive that car. I'm not going to not get a stick or learn to drive a stick because my dad told me that it wasn't possible. Make sense? Let's go back to the job thing. I'm not going to be a statistic and struggle in a job and have a difficulty with a job and want to get out of it and want to quit just because 50 other people before me couldn't handle it. You see, the difference between me and them is I know how to control this thing between my two ears. You see, most people have absolutely no idea how to control this because everybody's born with the same mind. We all have the exact same power. But when you're born into this world, you don't get an owner's manual on how to work this thing. You see, most parents don't even know how to work their own thing, so they have a difficult time teaching their kids how to work this. And don't take this personally at all. I'm just telling you from personal experience. I'm just telling you the things that I have learned personally that have worked in my life in order to take me places that I never dreamed that I would be in. Places that other people would think that I would never dream to be in. So the tip for today is guard your mind. You make the decision on what's going to go in there, not the environment, not other people, not what's on TV, not your friends, period, end of story. Guard your mind. Make the decision on what you're going to put in there. Hey, my name is Rob Moore, reminding you to show up, step out, and shine. Now is your time, so make it shine. Thank you very much. I'll see you on the next video. Looking forward to creating episode number 6 for you to learn and get a lot of value from. And before I let you go, if you like this video, hit the like button. Leave me a comment. Leave me a question. I will respond to everything that you leave me. Share this video with your friends, your family, your associates, whoever you think can benefit from this message. And I'll see you on the next video. Have a fantastic day.